give it up for Soph Palacios.
I definitely am a virgin. That'd be nice to get my virginity back. I wouldn't have to fuck men. That'd be great. This is my first night.
Yeah.
Most of the crowd is here for me. They just fell asleep and woke up. They're like, okay, shit. There's some bright colors up there. Let's pay attention. So I went to some open mics recently, and this is way bigger of an upgrade because the last one I went to I actually hiked to. It was at the old LA Zoo, and I was like, should I perform or should I smoke a joint? I don't know. So I did both. Before I went up, it was funny because this guy clearly, I mean, most of the people there just, it felt like they couldn't afford therapy, so that was their outlet. I mean, most comedians, let's be honest, suppressed trauma. But they were going on about how they live with their parents still, you know, LA, I guess, you know, it's really expensive. I mean, I'll keep preaching to the choir. People are like, oh, we're like 70 years old out here. Yeah, so they started talking about how their parents would be ashamed if they were talking to homeless people. You know, if they're performing in front of homeless people. I was like, wow, I didn't know I looked that depressed today. Oh, shit. But after that, I was like, fuck LA, I'm gonna go travel a little bit. Maybe I'll be appreciated more with some overalls when I go to Colorado. Looks like I'm going to the farm. Or I just came back from the 90s. So when I got there, my first instinct was like, let's go to a shooting range. Why not, right? So I get there and I'm like, you know, high as fuck. And I was like, let's shoot a gun. Right before I go to TSA. So I went up there and they're like, okay, they gave me back my ID. I went through and I'm being careful, trying to work the recoil and everything. And I just see this one white guy in the corner. I'm not white, I'm Mexican, by the way. I'm very scared of white people sometimes because of this moment that happened, okay? So he's just right there in the corner and all of a sudden I see, I'm like, what the hell? Okay, that's going a little fast, like, you know, whatever. And then all of a sudden he's like, looking at me like, what's up? I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I have a Glock right now? Like, I'm not I will shoot someone. I don't give a fuck. Like, shoot them first. I don't care. Oh, this is being recorded. Anyway, so he's looking at me and all of a sudden it goes, like, all of us open fire. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm looking for the manager. I'm like, are they gonna come out and stop him? It didn't happen. The guy was just like lingering around like, okay, Bob, I told you to slow down. Like, you can't do this on Tuesdays. So I was like, okay, let me just like go ham and shit because I'm not about to be here if there's a shooting. Like, I'm not trying to die that quick. Like, I know I'm a comic. I don't want to kill myself yet. And so naturally, got a little better at shooting. Got a couple videos put on Snapchat, and right before I was about to board the plane, I got a message from my friend replying like, damn, no way? They didn't do a background check? And I'm like, yeah, I guess as long as I don't shoot myself. Depressed as hell. So I came back to LA, naturally. I was like, okay, it's boring as fuck out there. Came back and actually was hanging out with some people from the open mic because I was like, okay, well, I hate myself enough, might as well hang out with strangers, right? So I went to go hang out with her and she was chill, and then the next time that I talked to her was actually recently, last night, and I was telling her about this and she's like, can you give me a ride? And I was like, gas prices, I'm so lazy. And then, so she also says, hey, are you single? I'm like, I know I love women and everything, but I don't want to stoop too low. And she was asking, she wasn't asking, she was telling me, I'm gonna throw you on the fucking bed right now. I'm like, whose bed? me on. What the hell? She said, your bed. And I'm like, do you have a bed? I want to know. Are you okay? She said, I don't know, I actually have a pod. I'm like, the fuck is a pod? You guys know what pods are?
No.
I don't know how rough you guys had it. So apparently a pod is like a storage unit, like a room that's like broken into 3, and then like you gotta just, you know, it's really sad. And I'm like, damn, the only time we get pussy, I guess, is when somebody's living in a pod. It's really rough. What was really funny is I just drank a little bit of Estella, and after I was chilling over here, the waitress came by and was like, I know you don't know me, but you look really high. Like, fuck, said everybody ever who's met me. I related so hard to that gravity bong. I was like, yes, that was my shit. Get half with like one little pinch of weed. Like, come on.
Right.
Come on. Yeah, exactly. You guys know you've been struggling. I was like, high as fuck, so I have no shame. I guess the fat people that performed left because nobody else was sitting. I don't give a fuck, I'll sit. And I'll look at my notes because I went to a comedy show recently with a famous ass person and they looked at their notes. So you guys can suck my clit if you don't like it. Alright. Oh, man, it's so funny. I'm so happy being gay. Like, look at me. Like, I look good. Look at this shit. I know you guys don't want to fuck me, but please cheer or else I'll cry after this. And half of the people are my family, so like, I guess we'll clap. We listen to her speak our whole lives. We're like, fuck it, might as well clap still. It's funny because I wish I was out sooner, but I'm glad I wasn't because I've always had a lot of aggressive interactions with older lesbians. And for example, you guys were talking about pronouns, some people were talking about pronouns and stuff. I'm still figuring my shit out. My pronouns are she, they, and I'm like, you know, it's like political almost, you know? It's like between being Republican or Democrat, I don't fucking know. I wasn't planning on saying that, I don't really give a fuck. But the point is, I talked to my friend about pronouns and she's like, well, I don't give a fuck because I know I have a pussy. I look like a dude, but I know I have a pussy, so I'm, you know, a woman. And I was like, well, you know, like whatever, I guess. And she's like, don't you know? And I was like, I got magic. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, doesn't matter what I am, right? And I told her, like, I mean, what do you want to identify as? Like, let's talk. And she's like, I want to be her, she, because I'm silky and smooth and I'll melt in your mouth, bitch. That's creative. And I'm like, I'm gonna be the fucking Milky Way. You know why? Because when you fuck with me, you'll see the whole galaxy, bitch. That's how it is. Thank you. Sit in my face after, I don't know, or I'll cry. Thank you.
Give it up, no longer a virgin, Sub Palacio.